Hello my wonderful Trails fans and welcome back to our next episode today. So we are just going to be heading back to the Bracer Guild today so we can turn in those requests we've just completed. It's always good to turn those in as soon as you can, because you never know when you're just going to stumble onto the next story area, and even though you've completed the request, because you took too long to go and turn it in, you don't get the reward from it. Because it's classified as being missed. So we're just gonna quickly go through this area and head on back to the Bracer Guild. So I will quickly cut us out until we get back to Bose. Alrighty, and here we are back at Bose. So there's no new NPC dialogue here, so we're just going to go ahead and go to the Bracer Guild and turn in this quest. There you go, there's the extra BP for choosing the correct choice on the bridge. Perfect. And don't forget as well, when you have high CP on your characters, to go ahead and defeat those shining pums for the extra experience points and the extra Sepith. Alrighty, so we are going to go ahead to the Ravennue village, so I will cut out the video until we get a little bit closer. Alrighty, and here we are back on the Ravennue trail, right next to the Ravennue village, so there will be a cutscene here. Huh? Oh. Sherazard, is that you? Well, this is an unlikely place to run into the Silver Streak. Right back at you. I thought you were in the Royal City, but are you here to look into the airliner incident? No, I'm here on some chump errands. But speaking of the incident, I hear it was the work of the Sky Bandits. Still, if you're here on the job, then I guess I don't have to worry about it myself. Good luck to you. Is that all you've got to say? I'm sure you've heard that Cassius might have been taken hostage, right? Cassius Bright, taken hostage? Haha, don't make me laugh. That old man's not going to get beaten by the likes of some Sky Bandits. Anybody saying that is severely mistaken. I'd like to believe that too, but I wonder who this guy is. I don't know, but he seems to fit the mold for a bracer. By the way, who are those brats you've got tagging along with you? They look like a bunch of newbies to me. Haha, well, then I'm sure you'll be surprised to hear that these brats are Cassius's kids. Yeah, that's a surprise, alright. So these are the old man's kids, huh? Hard to believe it. Why are you looking at us like that? This boy with the black hair is one thing, but the girl really looks like an amateur. Are you sure she's really Cassius's daughter? You want to try saying that again with my staff in your teeth? She's the bona fide daughter of Cassius Bright, and I have to warn you, her bite is as good as her bark. And I'm just his adopted son. Is that a fact? Oh well, it doesn't really matter. What do you mean, it doesn't matter? Well, take it easy, Sherazard, and be careful not to let these brats drag you down. Yeah. And make sure not to rush into any trouble yourself either. Haha, I'll keep those words in mind. Oh right, Sherazard. Was it you who took care of that monster near the mine? Yeah? Well, actually, it wasn't just me, it was us. Ha! I don't think any number of trainees would have made much difference. But anyway, good luck in your search for those Sky Bandits. Later. What's with that guy? He really peeves me off. I see, so that was Heavyblade Agate, huh? Heavyblade Agate? What a stupid name. Agate Crossner, Senior Bracer in the Bracer Guild. He works in all regions and isn't affiliated with any specific branch. His massive blade is said to be capable of slicing a monster in two with a single slash. I'll just tell you right now, he's one tough customer. Whatever, I don't care how tough he is, he's still a rude jerk. Come to think of it, how does he know Dad anyway? He seems to think highly of Dad's ability, but even so, he didn't seem to like him all that much. There are a number of things in his past I can't go into. And those things are the reason why he feels that way about your father. Huh. Well, I couldn't care less about someone rude like that. Anyway, let's hurry to Ravennue Village. Alrighty, so there are going to be quite a few new NPC conversations in Ravennue Village. Once we eventually get there. Pretty much, once we get there, we're going to talk to everybody, but leave the Elder to last, because I believe once you've spoken to the Elder, everyone's conversation changes again. Alright, let's see what we can find out about the sighting. So what do you suggest? Should we just go talk to all the villagers? People would be suspicious of us if we did that all of a sudden. I think we should talk to the village elder first and see what he has to say about it. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and speak to everyone. This village is close to the border and was one of the first places to be occupied during the war. There were so many victims back then, and the deep wounds in people's hearts still have yet to heal over. Just double check if anyone has any new foods for us. They're just ingredients. Oh, are you guys visitors? If you're looking for the village elder's house, it's just up that hill in the back of the village. Louis hasn't come over recently. I wonder if something happened. We're also going to rest here because we need everyone to heal a little bit. I'd like to recommend the squeezed juice in the bar on the second floor if I could. Please give it a try if you'd like. Ah yes. Make sure you get these new items as well. So it's the apple ice cream and the fresh juice. Then eat them for the recipes. Welcome! If you're here for a drink, I recommend that you try our various types of fruit wines. Our ingredients are the freshest and finest in all of La Belle. That sounds great, but if you don't mind me asking, this place wasn't around before, was it? Yes, that's right, we just opened the place recently. I hope you'll come visit us often. So what's the recommended item on your menu right now? Let's see, the pomegranate wine and the apricot tart set is delightful. Shara, shouldn't we be investigating things first? And that's exactly what we're doing. Speaking with local residents can net us some information as well. You don't need to be in such a hurry. I wonder if she's really serious about what she says. Haha, who knows, but whenever it comes to her and alcohol, her credibility isn't that great. Make sure we don't miss anybody. If you're looking for my husband, he's always in the orchard. Even when I call him for meals, he ends up coming an hour later. And by that time, his meal is already cold. Have you visited the gravesite here in the village? That large tombstone is dedicated to the victims who died in the 100 Days' War. 10 years ago, this village suffered greatly because of the fighting. And even today, I still see that horrific scene sometimes in my dreams. I've been growing fruit here even since this village was alive with its mining industry. When it comes to growing delicious fruit, I have no equal in this village. I'm actually looking to get out of the orchard business and start again as a merchant in Bose. But there are still a number of problems hanging over this village. And if we can't find a way to resolve them, I just won't be able to leave this place with a clear conscience. That's why my wife and son have gone ahead to Bose without me. Very admirable of him. My husband Pesca is really dedicated to his research. He works by day in the orchard and researches various means of cultivation by night. I moved to this village a number of years ago because I wanted to be an orchard farmer. I even purchased a new set of valuable farming equipment which I've been studying how to use all my life. I'm going to grow and produce more fruit than anyone else. Good on you. Nobody believes me. It wasn't a dream either. Yep, so don't worry, talking to Louis doesn't advance anything until we actually speak to the Elder first. Let's see, so that's where the bar comes out. Anyone up here to speak to? Nope. Anyone in this house? Still locked. So we're going to speak to the Elder's wife first, before we speak to the Elder. The heat of flames burning flesh and the charred smell of blackened bones, amidst the screams and cries of the villagers and their children. No matter how many years pass, the terrible events of the war remain ingrained in my mind. I see you're all together. What brings you all up here today? Are you here for a visit? No, not exactly. We're actually here on business. Although, if that's possible, I'd really like a glass of your fruit wine. Oh, things in the world never go like you expect, do they? By the way, I never got a chance to ask you until now, but you don't happen to be one of the Gate's companions, do you? Well, we're all members of the same guild, but we're not companions exactly. We know him by face, and that's probably about it. I see. So he's travelling by himself as usual, huh? The village elder closed his eyes for a moment as a look of sadness passed over his aged features. What's wrong, sir? It's nothing really, please pardon my expression. Anyway, what brings you to this rural village of ours? Don't tell me that another dangerous monster showed up in the area. No, actually we're in the middle of an investigation concerning the missing airliner. We came here because we heard there was a report of some kind of sighting. Ah, I see. The Royal Army came here and investigated that the other day. However, they searched around the area and ended up leaving empty-handed. Really, is that so? Well, what about the person who saw the flying silhouette in the sky? It was one of the children in the village here, a boy named Louis. He apparently saw some suspicious shadow making its way across the sky on the night of the incident. But he's a kid any way you think about it, so he may have just imagined the whole thing while he was half asleep. Imagined it, huh? I guess the best thing we can do then is ask him directly. You're probably right about that. Thank you for your time, sir. Don't mention it. If there's anything else I can help you with, don't hesitate to ask. Louis should be here somewhere in the village. The village is rather small, so I'm sure you'll be able to find him without any trouble. Speaking of the war, I saw that young man for the first time in years. If you'd let me know he was coming, I could have cleaned up the house for him. I just need to double check, but I think everyone's dialogue should have changed again. Just make sure there's nobody up here. You visited the gravesite here in the village. A large tombstone is dedicated. Okay, so these haven't changed. Alrighty, so I think they should change after we speak to Louis. Huh? I haven't seen you guys around here before. Are you merchants here to buy fruit? Actually, no, we're here for a different reason. As a matter of fact, we're bracers. Bracers? You mean like a gate? I don't know, you don't look all that strong to me, especially because you're a girl. Ugh, why don't you tell me how you really feel? But after seeing my great skill with a staff, do you think you can still call me weak? Wow, that's amazing! It's like a tornado! I hope you've learned your lesson that looks can be deceiving. Now how about another amazing demonstration with my staff? Estelle, be careful, wasn't it just yesterday that you hit yourself in the face doing that? Anyway, are you Louis by chance? Yeah? But how do you know my name? We heard from the village elder. He said you saw some kind of flying shadow. Do you think you could tell us a little bit more about what you saw that night? Sure, if you want. But the soldiers from the army already searched the place and didn't find anything. That's fine, we're not worried about that. Do you think you could just tell us what you saw? In as much detail as you can remember? Okay, I'll try. You see, I like watching the stars at night. So I often sneak out of my house at night to come here and look at the stars. And the other night when I was out here looking up at the stars, I saw two shadows moving across the sky. Now hold on a minute here. You say you saw two shadows? Yeah, that's right. And they were different sizes too, kind of like a mum leading a kid. Two shadows, two sizes. That's consistent with an airliner and the Sky Bandit airship if you think about it. Yeah, the aircraft we ran across in the woods was definitely smaller than a typical airliner. And the two shadows kept on flying north, until I couldn't see them anymore. So north is... There's a trail that continues behind the village, and it leads to an old Septium mine which was abandoned some time ago. The soldiers from the army supposedly searched the trail but didn't come up with anything. That's why they said I must have just been dreaming. And then they laughed at me like I didn't know what I was talking about. The little boy's eyes started to well up with tears. Enough of that. You're a boy, right? And boys don't cry. We're not like those stupid soldiers. We don't think you're telling a lie either, and we're going to prove it. But really? Darn straight, you just leave it to us. So no more crying, okay? Okay. You're a real nice person. As usual, she's got a knack with the kids. Yeah, maybe it's a virtue. Huh? Why are you looking at me like that? It's nothing. Let's focus on the task at hand. It looks like we've got stuff to do. Right. Let's hurry and get onto the trail behind the village and see what we can find. Two shadows I saw flying in the sky went north until I couldn't see them anymore. I know I wasn't dreaming. Okay, I think now the dialogue's changed. Grey and Pesca were at each other's throats again today. Grey has been growing fruit well before orchard cultivation spread throughout the village, and it's thanks to him that we were able to re-establish the village after the mine shut down. Maybe that's why he's not very flexible. Grey thinks that the only reason why I want to use machines is so that I can be lazy. He completely misunderstands me. I think we should use a number of cultivation technologies to improve the process. I think it's as my husband says, Grey just misunderstands us. I think if we had a chance to really sit down and talk to him, he would understand where we're coming from. These Jungian ways of cultivation are nothing less than crude, thinking only about production instead of quality of taste. It's utterly deplorable in every sense of the word. I wonder if Louis is still off crying somewhere by himself. I know he told me he saw a shadow flying through the air the other night, but any normal person would think he mistook an animal for what he saw. My husband is as stiff as a board and stuck in his ways. In fact, he may just be stuck in his old ways until the day he dies. It seems like recently my husband has had a difference of opinion with one of the young men in the village. I think it's partly Louis's fault that people don't believe him. When he first talked about seeing some suspicious silhouettes, he said he thought they were dragons. And dragons are creatures from ancient times, right? So saying something like that is not going to help people believe your story. I think it's just like he says. I've heard that when our fathers were children, there was a dragon still around here somewhere. I'd love to see a dragon for real, even if only just one time. Even young children were victims of the 100 Days War. It still pains me today when I think about it. When it becomes the right season, people can come and experience picking fresh fruit from the trees. Did you hear that, Joshua? We can come here and pick fruit. Can we come here again sometime so we can gorge ourselves on all the good stuff around here? I should have figured you'd say something like that, Estelle. Anyway, I think it's a little early for that. Yeah, that's right. It'll still be another several months before the fruit is ripe. Why do you have to go and say something like that? I got all excited for nothing. Well, let's at least come back again when it's picking season, okay? And when we don't have a job to do. Whatever you say, Estelle. Didn't you say the same thing about shopping and bows? wonder if I should increase the number of dishes that use fruit in them. I'll have to discuss this with Apple later. It's daily routine for me and my husband to pay our respects to the deceased. We don't ever want those who lost their lives during the war to feel that they have been forgotten. The silhouette that Louis saw flying in the sky. I wonder if it could be him. No, it couldn't be. It's been decades since anyone last saw him. Sounds like there's some kind of dragon that lives in the area. So I think that locked house there is probably agates. Right, so we are going to be heading to the abandoned mine this time round. So I'll show you the route because it's been a couple of episodes since we've been here. Just gotta keep going this way. We've already grabbed all of the chests in this area, so we don't need to do any detours. And here we are, Ravennue Mine. The gate is secured with a heavy chain and padlock. This looks like the entrance to an abandoned mine. It kind of reminds me of the Malga mine, except for the fact that it's all deserted. It seems that this place was abandoned quite some time ago. The padlock and chain are rusted. It doesn't look like this gate has been opened recently. Which means that there's no possibility that the Sky Bandits entered through here. I wonder if that's why the army never investigated the place. We're probably not going to find any clues searching around in an old mine, that's for sure. What's wrong, Estelle? Maybe it's just me, but do you feel any air flowing out of here? When you say out of here, do you mean the mine? Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Joshua wet the tip of his index finger with his tongue and held it out. You're right, Estelle. It's rather subtle, but there is air flowing out of here. Just like I thought, huh? Sometimes your senses can be surprisingly sharp, you know that? I wonder if you get that from your father. My dad doesn't have anything to do with it. But forget about that. Aren't you more interested in what's inside this old mine? There's certainly a possibility that it connects to somewhere. It's probably worth checking out. Well, in that case, let's bust this lock off. Hey, don't you even think about doing that. For now, we'd better head back to the village and talk with the Elder. He might have the key. Huh, you're no fun, Shara. Alrighty, and we'll head back to the village, and I will cut out the video until we get there. Alrighty, back at the village, and the NPC dialogues have changed yet again, so we're going to go ahead and talk to everybody. Are you looking for my husband? Since it's that time of the day, I'm sure he's up at the gravesite on the hill. Oh yes, the Elder will be the last person that we speak to, because I believe NPC dialogues will change yet again once we speak into him. Louis seems to be rather upset. I wonder what's wrong. So now you see what I meant earlier when I said that these dialogues are going to be changing a lot. Pesca relies too much on those augment-run machines. And look what it's brought him, fruit that tastes much less delicious than mine. I just don't know how I feel about shipping out something like that from Ravennue Village. I get what Gray is trying to say, but I think that Pesca has the best idea. I think we should sit down and discuss this, as it really is important to the whole village. It's not like I want to turn everything into a mechanized cultivation. To begin with, orchard cultivation is difficult to do with machines anyway. Even if we used orbal machines to help us out, a large portion of the work would still rely on things done by hand. As it stands, we don't have enough people here in the village to do everything by hand. This is why I think we should use machines where we need them. I really love raising fruit myself, so I'm glad that I came along with my husband. It's been a while coming, but gradually we've been able to confide in the other villagers. But Gray is someone we've never been able to get close to. Better keep an eye out for Louis as well, because he doesn't seem to be on the pier anymore. I don't think my husband is wrong in his opinions, because the fact is he grows the most delicious fruit in the entire village. That said, I don't think it would hurt to try accepting new ways of growing fruit. Oh, here's Louis. I heard this from Louis, so don't get mad at me if I'm wrong. But aren't you guys from the Bracer Guild? That's awesome, so even girls can be bracers too, huh? I always thought that you couldn't be a bracer unless you were tough like a gate. What's Vince's new theory now? This is the time for us women to shine. Even Law's wife is the queen of the house. And for heaven's sake, we even have Her Majesty the Queen. Hi you guys, did you find something out? I can't say for sure, but I don't think the thing you saw was a dream. Really? We're going to do a little more investigating, so please give us a bit longer to see what we come up with. Okay, good luck you guys. I know I'm a bit shy, but I love doing this job. We get people from all over with interesting stories about the world, and it makes me feel all warm and tingly inside just hearing them. I'm so happy when someone who stayed here before comes back again. Isn't that you, Scheherazade? It's nice to see you again. I haven't seen you since the last time you were here during your training. If it isn't Annalise, what are you doing here? Well, we had a request to exterminate a monster in this area. Oh really? So how has your swordsmanship been coming along? Have you started mastering the use of that weapon? Let's avoid that subject right now. I'm still working on it. By the way, Scheherazade, are you here on a job for the guild? Yeah, something like that, although the job's a little different from the one you're handling. Is that so? Well, this region has been becoming more dangerous recently. Make sure to be careful. I started this place with my childhood friend Apple. Of course, I was the one who invited her to join me in this venture. She's a bit of an introvert, so I wasn't sure she was up for it, but she was surprisingly eager to give it a shot. Look at that, we even got to meet another bracer. I had my own store in the Bowes Market at one time. However, I feel more comfortable in my hometown. Unfortunately, this place is out of the way and sometimes it's difficult to get products in stock. Alrighty, and that is everyone spoken to again in the village. So next episode we're going to go ahead and speak to the Elder and continue our investigations into the mine. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification icon just so you know when the next episode comes out. And I will see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.